Hey everybody, this is Bill from the National Weather Service in Sacramento, California. We wanted to let you know about a significant change in the weather pattern that is expected to start on Wednesday. We're expecting a very wet and windy period to start on Wednesday and continue off and on through the weekend. We'll get into some of the details and expected impacts of the storm during this presentation and briefing. This briefing was prepared at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Tuesday, November 27th, 2020. As I stated, a major shift in the weather pattern is expected for Northern California beginning on Wednesday. Our confidence is pretty high for a prolonged period of moderate to heavy precipitation with occasional strong winds that will continue off and on through the week. So the main impacts we're concerned about include mud and debris flows from the intense rainfall. This is especially over the burn-scarred locations of Northern California. We'll talk a bit more about that later in this briefing. Also, we think the wind and wet soils will contribute to some local power outages as limbs and trees fall. Also, we expect the rain to create flooding problems, especially in poorly drained locations. This will include highways, underpasses, and other roads susceptible to flooding. Small streams will rise very rapidly as the rains begin, and most small creeks and streams will likely leave their banks. In addition, some locations of the northern Sacramento River will likely exceed flood stage this weekend. Weir overflow through bypasses is also expected. We really want to call attention to one aspect of this storm system that makes it particularly dangerous, and that is the risk of debris flows. The burn-scarred areas of Northern California will not be able to handle the intense rainfall from this storm. This will lead to some mud and debris being washed into streams and creeks very rapidly. With strong enough rainfall, these mud and debris flows could become large. Please pay close attention if you live in an area downstream from an area recently burned. So here are some of the details of the rain and wind we are expecting during this storm. The areas that should see the heaviest rain are in the foothills and mountains of Shasta and Butte counties, as well as the western portions of Plumas County. In these areas, we're expecting 12 to 18 inches of rain. Overall, though, most mountain areas will see from 12 to 18 inches of rain. Snow isn't really expected to be a big problem with this storm system since it's so warm. On Wednesday, snow levels will start around 5,000 to 6,000, but will quickly rise to about 7,000 feet for the majority of the storm, or even higher than that. Most foothill areas will see from 8 to 12 inches of rain, again, especially in the north. For the valley floor, 4 to 7 inches of rain is expected, with lesser 2 to 4 inches expected in the northern San Joaquin Valley locations. Wind is also going to be a problem, with strong gusts Thursday through Saturday and even Sunday. Mountain areas expect southerly winds of 25 to 40, gusting to 70 miles an hour, with foothill locations 25 to 35, gusting to 55, and a large portion of the valley will see gusts up to 45 miles an hour off and on through the weekend. Thanks for checking out this briefing and getting prepared for this significant weather event. Stay tuned to the National Weather Service or your favorite local media for the latest weather updates on this potentially impactful series of storm systems. Thank you for listening, and check back for updates.